Visibility in the national capital is so low, it feels like our politicians cannot even see the obvious. Delhiites are developing health conditions seen in lifelong smokers. Children are struggling to breathe. Hospitals are stretched. Doctors warn of permanent lung damage, also permanent damage to your life. But inside Parliament, the response will baffle you. In a Rajya Sabha, in fact, a reply was filed. Minister of State for Environment Kirti Vardhan Singh said that based on the available data, a direct link between air quality levels and lung diseases has not been firmly established. He's saying there is no link between air pollution and lung disease. Let that sink in for a while. This is our Minister of State for Environment, Kirti Vardhan Singh. While doctors speak of shrinking lungs, fibrosis, irreversible damage, while health experts urge residents to leave Delhi NCR if they can, government says science is not conclusive. So let's be clear about what the world's most credible medical research is already telling us. A report by Lancet says Lancet, of course, one of the most respected health journals in the planet, in the world really, shows that in 2023, more than 1.5 million people in India died from exposure to fine particulate matter, meaning PM 2.5, making this one of the biggest killers in the country today. Science could not be clearer. Prolonged exposure to polluted air scars the lungs. Fine particulate matter, PM 2.5, PM1 as well, penetrates deep into the lungs and bloodstream, triggering chronic inflammation. That inflammation leads to asthma, COPD, fibrosis, heart disease, premature deaths. The list is very, very long. Children are growing up in polluted cities. Those who do show stunted lung growth. Adults are losing lung capacity in many cases by half. And once lung tissues harden, it never regenerates. It's not one of those organs. This is not speculation. This is not theory. This is what the evidence, the doctors say every day. So when the government is asked what to do to protect people, the answer is not emergency action. It is awareness booklets, training programs and advisories. But alerts do not repair lungs, remember. Forecasts do not reverse fibrosis. And clean cooking fuel does nothing when the air outside is poison. Refusing to acknowledge a direct link is not science. It is delay, distraction. It is denial. That's the worry. There is no lack of data as we know. There is perhaps lack of political will to admit the scale of this crisis and do something about it. That's why the question in front of us is pretty deadly, pretty simple. How many more will have to die before our leaders stop treating it like an inconvenience that we've started treating air pollution as? Just another inconvenience that India lives with. What exactly is happening? If you don't believe us, listen in from the top doctors in the country. Joining me next is Dr. Arvind Kumar. He's a leading pulmonologist. He opens people's lungs. He does surgeries. He also deals with lung cancer almost on a daily basis. So he really knows what's going inside. So Dr. Arvind Kumar, I want to understand from you. The Parliament reply is beyond me. What do you, as one of the best pulmonologists in the country, feel about this reply from the government?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for having me on the show. Secondly, I would not like to comment on what has been stated in the Parliament. That's probably out of my purview. But as a doctor, as a chest surgeon who operates on chest every day and gets a chance to see 3 to 4 lungs every day for the last 30 years and has seen a sea change in the color of the lungs of the people, which is a direct impact of air pollution. I would like to say that air pollution is playing havoc with the health of the people. I'll send you the images. Normally, when we are born, we have pristine pink lungs, which I rarely see these days. Even teenagers, when we operate, we find black deposits on their lungs, and this is the image that you can see. There are black deposits on the lungs of a teenager, and this is the image of the lung of a non-smoker from the city of Delhi, and you can see there is hardly any normal area left in the lungs. I am also a lung cancer surgeon, and I have seen the lung cancer, which used to be a smoker's disease 25, 30 years back, happening as much in non-smokers as in smokers today, number one. And what used to be a male predominant disease 30 years back is occurring today in male as well as female, especially non-smoking female, and is occurring about 15 to 20 years younger age than what it used to happen. So when and you ask any doctor, any pediatrician, they will tell you that these days, with these kind of air pollution levels, our OPDs, our emergencies, our wards, our ICUs are flooded with people, not only chest diseases. People think that this air pollution only causes lung diseases. Yes, lung diseases are in majority, but it also causes heart attacks, it also causes brain attacks, and it causes whole lot of other diseases also, including diabetes and obesity. There is data to prove that each of these diseases is linked to air pollution. So this is what I would like to submit as a doctor who's seeing all these diseases in his clinic regularly.
Oh, Dr. Kumar, that's a reality we've known for a while. We really hope these words, the reality you face every day, actually reaches the government as well. But let me ask you this, year on year, air pollution is not a problem that has suddenly come on us, right? It's been in the making for the past 10, 20 years. Year on year, are you seeing any change in your patients' bodies on what sort of this extended periods of exposure to polluted air is doing to us?
So we have increase in the number of patients, number one. So year on year, if you see, you will find more and more patients coming in. There is a change in the demography of some of the diseases. For example, as I said, lung cancer was virtually unknown in non-smokers, and today it is occurring as much in smokers as in non-smokers. This is a massive change, which is a cause for worry, because if you smoke, or earlier we used to say, well, if you want to, avoid lung cancer, don't smoke. But today the message will be, if you want to avoid lung cancer, stop breathing. So there is a huge change in the demography of Syria. Likewise, COPD is a disease where the lungs become kind of swollen, and they become filled with air. This is a disease which was again known as smoker's disease earlier. But these days we are seeing increasing number of non-smokers, especially women, coming with COPD. So we recently carried out a study of the lung functions and lung symptoms of about 4,000 children across 22 schools in Delhi NCR, and were horrified to find nearly 60% of the children in the age group 11 to 14 years to be reporting respiratory symptoms like persistent cough, sneezing, running nose, chest pain, chest tightness, itching in the eyes, etc., etc. Can you believe it? 60% of the children reported these symptoms to be present, and 27% of the children were found to be spirometry-proved asthma. 1/3 of children were having spirometry-proved asthma, though most of them were not aware and were not on treatment. So there is a huge amount of disease, disability, and even premature deaths which are occurring out there, which all of us doctors, not me alone, all of us doctors are seeing it every day in our clinics, in our wards, in our emergency rooms.
All of you are saying it, data is telling us this, internationally people are understanding. Why do you think our politicians are not understanding?
Well, I can't answer that question. As a doctor, I can only show the evidence that I'm seeing every day in the OPD, in the ward, in the emergency rooms. What someone else's belief is, I cannot comment on that.
Dr. Kumar, let's talk some solutions now. I want to understand this. Mothers, what do they do? Our kids' life, we are seeing them suffocate every day in front of us for choices we have made. Their only crime is that they were born to parents who live in Delhi. What do we do? How can we salvage? Is there a way to salvage the lives of our kids?
That's a very difficult question because this question is asked to me every day. Should we move out of Delhi? First of all, moving out of a city on the basis of only pollution existing is not an answer to a problem. It's like running away from the problem. That's one. Two, it's a misconception that pollution is a Delhi centric or north
Yeah,
centric or Indo Gangetic belt centric
absolutely.
problem. Today, it's a pan country problem. Nearly 98% of the surface area of the country is affected by pollution. Maybe 30 years back, it was a Delhi problem. But today, you take any metro and you look at their AQI levels, they may not be as high as Delhi, but they are certainly many times the Indian standards, which are actually many times the WHO standards. So the whole country literally is breathing bad air. And this problem is getting from bad to worse with every passing year because of the causes not being directly addressed. So my answer to you as a mother would be that, like you, there are millions of mothers across the country. There are millions of fathers and brothers and others across the country. Instead of running away from one city to another, I think 140 crore people of this country need to put their act together and say that air pollution in India today is a serious health emergency which needs as quick a response. I repeat, as quick and major response as we did at the time of COVID in March of 2020.
Yep.
We need
Yep.
major response to this problem. Then only collectively we will be able to address this problem. There are no easy solutions, smoke tower, cloud seeding. These are all cosmetic solutions which don't address the basic problem. The basic problem is dhua, that is smoke, and dhool, that is dust. These two add to the particulate matter as well as the chemicals which are there. And we know the sources of dhua, we know the sources of dhool. What is needed is a determined effort, solid effort, well meaning effort, come what may, to be implemented kind of effort to tackle this problem. Else, the health consequences will be very serious for everyone, but more serious for the pregnant women and children, the two most vulnerable sections of our society.
Dr. Arvind Kumar, you couldn't have said it better. And that picture on the screen, let that sink in for a while. That's what's happening to our lungs and their non-smokers' lungs. I really don't know what to say beyond what you have already stated. We really hope that this message will go to the most powerful individuals in the country. And we really hope that there a centralized solution is found to air pollution. This is just beyond depressing. Thank you so much, sir, by the way, for coming here and sharing all that knowledge with us.